All right, I got the PJ pants on. Let's do it. Hey guys, let's talk about the basics of bow fishing and how to get started. Also, heads up, my chickens are being very vocal today, so you're probably gonna hear them a lot in the background. So I started bow fishing in 2016 and I had very minimal knowledge of bow fishing. In fact, I didn't know what I was doing at all. In the 1970s, farmers were putting carp into their fish farms to clean out the algae, but then after a while there was a series of floods that caused the carp to go into our waters. We now have a smaller population of fish that are native to here, including catfish. Because of the overpopulation of carp, it's that much more imperative that people learn that bow fishing is actually a really fun sport and it can really help the environment in the long run. So let's get into it. The first thing you need, obviously, is a bow. I got it off Amazon and I bought it when I was in college on minimum wage. So if I can afford it, you can afford it. It's perfect for someone who's not sure if they really want to get into bow fishing or not because it's not a major financial commitment. Since I have a smaller frame, that bow is perfect for me because its poundage can go pretty low and also it's easy to adjust if need be. When it comes to setting your poundage on a bow, you want to determine where you're going to be bow fishing. My poundage is currently set to 35 pounds because I bow fish at Hovey Lake. Hovey Lake is not known for being very deep at all, so you really don't need a whole lot of poundage because then you're going to be pulling your bow out of some murky mud and it's going to get caught on sticks. When it comes to setting poundage, all you need is just an Allen wrench. You want to make sure you have a line set. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a little line right there. And whenever I turn it, make sure you do the exact same amount of turning on this part right here because your accuracy will depend on it. One thing I really want to make clear is whenever you order your bow, you want to make sure that the line you use is actual bow fishing line. So you do not want to use fishing line. If you buy the Cajun Winch Pro package, it's a lot easier when it comes in the mail because all you have to do is just put it together and all the parts you need are right there. The next thing you need is spare items. What I mean by that is always have extra line, you want to have an extra arrow, you want to have extra arrow tips, you want to have extra arrow nocks. Anything that can come off your bow, it will. One thing that the Cajun brand is kind of guilty of is the tips sometimes come off way too easy, so you want to make sure you constantly are retightening the end and also make sure that it's still sharp because they do dull over time. If a knock ever comes off, you just replace it, put some crazy glue on it, pop it right back on top. I always bring a pocket knife with me just in case. You never know when you have to cut your line because sometimes it won't come out of the fish, or you want to replace your line. It's really handy to have. Next thing I recommend whenever you go bow fishing is something to kind of put the fish out of its misery, so to speak. My current favorite that I can pack in my backpack is this little bat that my grandpa made me when I was a kid. It's really strong and durable and it does the trick. It's also just for safety that you knock out the fish because when you pull a carp out, they flop like crazy and it kind of becomes a safety hazard when you're trying to pull your arrow out of it. I'm not sure what the laws are in other states, but I know in Indiana, if you shoot a carp, you need to put it on the bank so there's no chance of it surviving and continuing to populate. Everything that I pack, I put into my waterproof backpack. I haven't had any issues yet of dropping my bag into the water, but since I bowfish in a shallow area, everything would be fine in my backpack when and if it falls in. If ever I go bow fishing alone, I want to make sure that I'm safe, so I always bring with me my 9mm and I put it in my waterproof drawstring bag. Currently in Indiana, you do not need to have your concealed carry to carry. I do have my concealed carry because that was before the law was made. I carry it with me just in case. I recently purchased this kayak back here. I got it from Dick's Sporting Goods. It was pretty affordable and I love to bow fish from it because you can actually sneak up on the carp because you're completely silent. I can't recommend it enough. I love it. Before I got my kayak, I really stuck to just walking to different locations in streams and lakes. Another good spot to try is flooded areas in farm fields. Always ask permission before you go and bow fish in someone's field though. I would stick to the streams that come off of the river and lakes that get flooded by the river. Anything that's connected to the rivers is your best bet of finding a carp. Bow fishing is not limited to carp. I also bowfish gar. It's always a competition with my friends to see who can get the smallest gar because it means you have the best aim. Whenever you first get to your location, you want to see if there's any ripples in the water and look for the activity. You want to look for that scum lining on the top of the water. That's what they love to eat. One thing that wouldn't hurt to do is ask around if that's a good spot for bow fishing or not. That's how I learned on the best spots. My goal is to someday get enough people that are involved in bow fishing that maybe we can put a dent in the population. Because as of right now, something needs to be done. Our waters are in really rough shape and eventually they're going to get into the Great Lakes if they're not already. I hope this video has helped you, hopefully inspired you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or message me and I'm happy to answer. Like I said, I'm no expert, but these are just things I've picked up along the way, and hopefully you find it becomes something you enjoy doing too. Good luck and happy bow fishing!